Hey everybody, how you all doing? Hi, it's Dee at Dee'svillage. If you don't know me, thanks for stopping by to the channel. Today I want to talk about relocating, migrating, emigrating, coming back, however you want to call it. So you've decided to do that. So statistically, 1/10 of the population in the UK live abroad. That's 5 million people of British nationality live abroad. That's a huge and significant number. So people are relocating all the time. How are you all doing? What's happening in your world? I hope you're all being well. Anyway, so what I think you should do first, number one, is create a checklist. So once you've created that checklist, everything will be in black and white, so to speak, and that will help you and keep you guided as to where you are heading. So that's number one, create a checklist. I suggest your number two is that you have all your documents that prove that you are you, your birth certificate, your national insurance number, your medical records, your driving license, your social security number, work permits, things like that. So get all your significant paperwork together. Make a photocopy of all of that significant paperwork. I strongly suggest that you leave a photocopy of each one of those individual paperworks or any others that you may have with somebody very significant in the country that you're moving from. So it's not in any particular order, but those are the things that I would definitely do first. And then depending on where I was going, I would think about what vaccinations do I need for that country. Now I know a lot of people are not interested in taking vaccinations, but however, I'm not talking about, the vaccination that we're currently in the worldwide situation, not that particular vaccination, but some countries say that you have to have certain vaccinations to enter. So if you don't have those vaccinations, unless you've got medical certification or medical proof why you can't have them, then when you get to border control in the country that you're going to, i.e. the Gambia, their expectation is that you will have had that vaccine. So that would be number three for me. Number four for me would be make sure you've got emergency funds. You haven't got to the country yet, but make sure you've got emergency funds before you leave, because anything can happen whilst you're there. Your intention may well be that you're going and you're not coming back at all, but something may happen that you need to return for a short period of time or whatever that is. So make sure you've got emergency funds, and those emergency funds will be specific to you and particular to you depending on what they are. But certainly your flight money back to your country of origin and some other bits and pieces. Okay, I would strongly suggest that you get a new passport, because even if you add on to your passport, if you say you've got 2 years left on your passport and you get a new one, then you'll still only have 10 years. That's how it is in the UK. You're not going to have 12 years, but you don't know how long you're going to be abroad. You don't know if you're going to be abroad forever. So I would suggest that you get a new passport or get it extended or updated. That's what I would suggest. If you need to apply for visas, then do that. Not every country that you go to needs visas, and it will depend on where you're coming from. So from England to Gambia, you don't need a visa, but obviously find out what it is that you need to get into another country. Do your research before, do your due diligence. Okay. The next thing I'll probably suggest that you do is consider accommodation. So the accommodation that you're in the country that you're leaving from, are you going to rent it? Are you going to sell it? Are you going to let an agency manage it? Are you going to Airbnb it? Are you going to get somebody to house it? And do you need to give notice to your landlord? So those are some of the considerations you need to have for the accommodation that you're currently living in. Then what will you do with all your stuff, your things, your belongings? What will you do with all of those? So you might want to start arranging a yard sale, garage sale, putting things out online for those to be sold, selling to friends, selling to family, giving away, And also you might consider storage. You might also consider things that you might want to ship. So all of those things need to be considered. But also you have to make sure that you do these things in a timely manner. Don't leave it to the last appointed moment, because if you're not taking everything with you, you'll need to put it in storage or leave it with somebody, or leave it in the house if you're renting your house. And the other things that you're bringing with you, you'll need to find a shipping company that will whether they come and assist you to pack, whether you pack them yourself, but you'll want those things shipped to wherever it is you're going in a timely manner, so that when you reach that country, those things will be there for you. Okay, so the next thing you want to do is make sure you clear all your debts. Clear your credit cards, clear any of those sorts of debts. Make sure all your utility bills are paid, and that there's a forwarding address for the companies, because you might live in the middle of a month. Probably easier to leave it at the end of a month so everything's square, but you might leave in the middle of a month. If you've got any store cards, make sure that balance of those is paid off, because you never know when you may need any of those facilities again, so it's best not to be in debt. Get all your post redirected from the house that you're living in to maybe a family member's house, so that they can go through your post to make sure if there's anything that you need to be contacted about, you need to have access to. And it'll be easy if a family member has got those, or a trusted friend, whichever it is for you. If you have a car, you might want to sell that, you might want to give it away. If you sell your car, then that will be extra money for your migration, emigration, relocation to somewhere else. So do those things in a timely manner, because you might have the hottest SUV with a drop top and all the rest of it, and you might think, yes, this is going to go straight away and it's going to go for this amount of money, and it may not. So make sure that you do these things in a timely manner. Banking. Try to get a compatible bank between the country that you're currently living in and the country that you're going to. You want to make sure that you can send monies across. So if you've had that facility where you've already been to the country that you're migrating to, then you would have started to port money from one place to the other already, so you'll know that that facility works. So going to that country for the first time and you haven't established which banks are compatible between the country you're leaving and the country that you're going to, do your research. So the next thing that you want to do is consider your healthcare. So before you leave, let's say before I leave England, I would go to my doctors, my GPs, whatever it's called in your country, to make sure you've got a check over from head to foot, top to toe, check over, do all of those things. If there's any medication that you currently take, then you need to get a prescription for those, and see if you can get extra. They're a bit funny in the UK about that, but whatever, see if you can get extra. Make sure you go to the dentist to get your checkup at the dentist before you leave, and whatever dental care that you might need. If you wear glasses like me, make sure you get your optical care done. Some people get their eyes tested once a year, some people get them tested once every 2 years. All these facilities will be where you go to, but it just gives you time to find out other important things. Chiropody, if you get your feet done, get that done as well. Any outstanding hospital appointments, attend to those. Or if you go to a naturopathy or homeopathy or any of those other things, do that as well. If you like specific natural remedies, natural herbs, then go to that, gather some of those, so that when you're ready to go, you have those to take with you. Consider those considerations. If you've got a pet, what will you do with your pet? Will you home it with a family member? Will you rehome it all together? Or will you bring your pet along with you? So then you've got to consider pet insurance and all those other things that come with pets. If you have elderly family members, what will happen with the family members? Can they travel? Can they come with you? What preparations and considerations will you make for them while you're in another country? Who will be looking after them? Who will be sorting out their bills? and all the other things that come with having an elderly family member. Okay, if you have children, are they of an age group where they've got no consent and they have to come with you anyway? That's a different ball game. So you'd start having that conversation with them, having that dialogue with them. You know, let's do some research, let's look at where we might be going, what we're going to eat, and all those things, so that you start giving those young people that information so they can begin to acclimatise internally and externally as well. If they're older children, then you know you might make that choice to leave them behind, and that will be a dialogue again that you will have with your, with those children. And your wider and extended family members, it might be a conversation that you'll have with them too. You know, what are their thoughts? Are they going to come? Would they come to visit? What would they plan in the future? What do they think about your move? You know, that's not going to be the deciding factor whether you go or you don't go, but it's nice to extend that information out to those individuals if you're able to. And also, before you get to this country that you're going to, I'm going to say Gambia, make sure you get all your electronics up to speed and up to date. Get a new phone, new computer, used, whatever it happens to be. Those things are in the Gambia naturally, but I don't know where they ship them from, and the quality doesn't always appear to be the same as the quality that you're used to. Real talk. Okay, so before you go, start considering what sort of accommodation you may need, and also remember and recognize that it might be useful to just have some temporary accommodation when you get to your new country for, let's say, for four weeks, so that you can have time to decide which area of that country you may want to live. You might not want to live in the town, you might want to live more in the country part. So it might be useful just to have accommodation for a short period, and then from there look for accommodation that you're going to need longevity. And also to recognise that in the Gambia, the accommodation is paid for in advance. So you need to have rental for at least a year. And obviously for food and all those other things that come with living and adulting and life in itself. So if there's any other things that you can think of that you should do before you leave, wherever it is you're leaving from, pop them down in the comment section. Pop them down in the comment section, because that will be helpful and useful to other people who are watching the channel. So thanks for stopping by. If you found that useful, please hit the thumbs up and give it a subscribe. We're on the journey to get live. We're nearly there. So if you haven't subscribed, please do so, because then you can have up-to-date information and you can ask the questions that you need to ask. So until another good time, peace, peace, peace. Kairo, Kairo, Kairo. Walk good. Peace, guidance, power and protection. We out of here. It's been Dee'svillage.